The sport of competitive weightlifting is seeing a resurgence, and that's evident in the number of Dunedin residents getting involved. The Otago Amateur Weightlifting Association was well represented at the weekend's South Island Olympic Weightlifting Championships. Coach Mark White joins us to talk about the sport and why it's so popular. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening.
Tell us about how fast weightlifting is growing as a sport here.
In the last 2 to 3 years, our numbers have gone from maybe 4 or 5 competitive lifters to, at this stage, we have in excess of 30 lifters that are either competing or training towards competing.
That is quite an increase.
Yeah.
What's the difference between lifting and powerlifting?
Powerlifting, they do 3 lifts in their competitions. They do the squat, the deadlift and the bench press. Olympic lifting involves 2 lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk, the lifts that you see when you watch the Olympic Games and Commonwealth Games on television.
Why do you think more people are getting into it now?
Possibly because we've made the coaching more available than it has been before, and the CrossFit phenomenon has made a big difference to the number of people that are interested in the sport. Olympic lifting is a major part of CrossFit.
Is it mostly men who lift?
It has been in the past, but at the moment I would say that probably 30 to 40% of the lifters that I'm seeing now are females.
How do people train for competitions?
That's a good one. We work from the date of the competition and we work backwards. So generally lifters will peak maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and the training is usually worked out on a 13-week program. So they'll spend 2/3 of that time training for strength. The final third will be a tapering period where they spend more time doing the pure Olympic lifts, and then they'll have a week of rest and recovery before they compete, so that they're in peak physical condition. Yeah. What
should people do if they're interested in trying it?
They contact us on our website, Otago Amateur Weightlifting Association, or if they're outside of Dunedin, they can go onto the Olympic Weightlifting New Zealand website, which has links for all the clubs in New Zealand.
Is it an expensive sport?
No, it's a very cheap sport to get into. All you really need is a decent pair of lifting shoes and a lifting costume if you intend to compete. Yeah.
Can anyone lift weights? What about kids and the elderly?
Yes, barring any major physical difficulties, yes, anybody can lift. I've coached children from 12 to people in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah. Wow. Is it dangerous?
I looked at a survey on that subject last year, and it listed the 30 most common sports, and from 1 to 30, and I think weightlifting came in at about number 29 as far as injuries go. So it's a very safe sport, and we make sure that we teach the right movements so that there's far less chance of any injury.
What do you think is attracting people to weightlifting?
I think in general it's a lot of people go to the gym just to train and go over the same routine all the time. It gives them a focus and a goal towards their training. It makes the training more interesting. And I think in Dunedin we're particularly lucky because we have a captive population of 25,000 young people, so they're generally really keen to get into it.
Weightlifting coach Mark White, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, the local